Yo, welcome to episode 53. I groan as I open my heads. My skull feels like it's been cracked open. I can barely breathe. My stomach is heavying. I hold up my hand in front of my face to confirm it. I was sure I saw the warning. I was disconnecting, but I made it out somehow. A silver code disconnection is death. Or was it the display wrong? No, I must have made it out ahead of the DOSC by nanoseconds. That's the only way possible. Excuse me. I'm butchering my fucking words so much. That's the only possible explanation. An eerie silence fills the room. Nobody else is moving. Shit. I don't like how silent it is now. I shake her by the shoulders, but she doesn't react. The monitor heartlessly shows that she's flatlined. Yosuke and Kaira aren't moving either. Strength drains out of me, and I collapse to the floor. The first platoon is dead. Wait, Minori too? No, dude. She's fallen over her console too, her eyes wide open and her narrow jack still plugged in.
ああ、電子体で没入中のものはもちろん、単に接続中だったものまで含め、数百人規模の被害が発生している。
No way, dude. It wasn't just the people on the battlefield. It's nothing short of a miracle that I survived. I close her eyes for her. She almost looks like she's just asleep now. Her face is still warm. Grief and anger fills me. All I can see are my tears.
そうこなくっちゃ。主役がいないんじゃ盛り上がらないからな。
あやね、今日ぐらいは付き合いなよ。新人歓迎なんてめったにあることじゃないんだからさ。仕方がないわね。トールさん、行きましょう。
My friends, I was just drinking with them all the other day. And now they're all gone. All at once. I punched the floor in frustration, over and over. There's so many things I still don't know, but there is one thing I'm sure of. The one responsible for what happened to them is the woman who was plotting to go after Leviathan and Rin, Tachibana Reika. The only thing I can do for them now is to stop whatever it is she has planned. But where do I even start? I wipe away my tears, stand up, and check a console to see where she's being held. Luckily, it's nearby. There's nothing more I can do here. The life support systems will keep their bodies technically alive until the emergency team gets here. I say goodbye to them and then run out into the base. Dude, this fucking sucks. I head straight to the room where Bachelor is being held. It's got a digital lock. I take out my handheld and start hacking into it. Behind the door is a small dark room with a large window and a door to another room. I can hear a strange voice through the vents in the ceiling. This must be the observation room for integration. Fuck me, dude. Room. That window is actually a one-way mirror for looking in. I look into the room through the one-way mirror. She's cuffed to a chair with Gondo standing menacingly in front of her. Just kill him. Kill him right now, dude. Dude.
手間をかけさせよって。まるで野良犬だな。
He's wiping his hand with his handkerchief. There's bloody teeth marks on it. She must have bitten him. She's scared and holding as still as she can as she watches him, but the fear in her eyes is clear.
しかしまあ、野良犬みたいな小娘でも女には違いない。
Jesus, dude, you're so fucked up.
何をするつもりなんだよ。いやめてよ。
ここは騒ぐな。おとなしくせんか。
Ah, fuck it. This is a bad end. This game sucks. I can't keep watching this. I throw the door open and rush up to him. Yes! Finally! Before he could turn around, I slap the butt of my gun into the back of his head. Good. He grumbles with barely a whimper. Fuck him, dude. She looks up at me with tears in her eyes. I get her out of the cuffs. As soon as she's free, she clutches my arm tight.
ありがとう。でもどうして君が
Because you're part of Steppenwolf.
ああ、お前にどうしても聞きたいことがあってな。
At least to me. It's hard to say much of anything with her staring at me, misty-eyed, like this. The door opens behind me. I whip around as I draw my gun. Hey! What up, Yagisawa? It's Yagisawa. His gun's out. We stare at each other frozen.
相変わらず直上で動くやつだな。
Awesome, dude. He was gonna help out anyway. He was legit about it in a man's life. Good. He lets out a big sigh and holsters his gun.
隊長、一体どうしてここに？
お前と同じ目的だ。取り調べ室の保安システムを解除して来てみればこのありさまだ。
I'm not sure what he's getting at, but I put my gun away too. That reminds me, he wasn't in the operation room during the mission.
隊長、第一小隊は全滅。
ああ、知っている。お前だけでも戻ってきてくれてよかった。そうな。
Fuck, man. I at least wanted Minori to stay alive. There's a rare trace of emotion in his voice. He looks down on Gondo on the floor.
とにかく今はここに逃げろ。後始末は俺がする。
隊長。
いいから話してる暇はない。さっさとバチェラーを連れて行け。
God damn. He hands a piece of paper to me. There's an address on it. It's somewhere in the slums.
これは？
とりあえずその紙に書かれている場所に行け。お前らをかくまってくれる奴がいる。
Wait, no fucking way. Is this gonna lead us to Kuwan?
しかし。
I don't know if I can trust him, but I don't know that I have any other good options right now.
急げ。早くしないと面倒なことになる。
That'll be crazy.
いや。
I take Bachelor by the hand and run out of the room. An hour later, Bachelor and I are sitting in the third-class seats on a train headed for the slums. What? Why is she looking? Well, it probably, yeah, it was Toru's fault for her. Yeah. Kind of awkward now. We stare at each other in silence. She just looks like an ordinary tomboy. It's hard to believe that she's a transcendental hacker. Whatever, dude.
どうしてなのさ。
え？
どうしてあんな危険を冒してまで僕を助けようとしたんだい？
Oh, she's upset about that or whatever. I wouldn't say upset. She asked me weirdly.
言っただろう。バチェラに聞きたいことがあるんだ。
聞きたいこと？
I glance around. There's some kids missing around. And a drunk loudly snoring. No one's paying attention to us.
実は
I tell her everything about the plan to capture Leviathan and about how they all died.
8年前と同じだね。
As I finish, she lets out a sigh.
8年前ってあの DOS 攻撃事件のことか。バチェラが容疑者扱いされているっていう。
Sorry about that.
あれは僕がやったんじゃないよ。
バチェラじゃないとすれば、真犯人はあのリヴァイアさんってやつなのか。
あ
あ。After hesitating a moment, she nods.
8年前、一体何があったんだ。レンもそれに関係しているのか。
分かったよ。君にだったら話してあげる。
She looks out the window, far off into the distance, and starts talking about the past.
僕は8年前まで施設で暮らしていたんだ。もっとも施設に来る前のことは覚えていないけどね。だから8年前施設を脱走した後、僕は自分がどこの誰なのかを調べようとしたんだよ。
8年前にね。
She would have been a little kid back then, a scared, alone little girl.
結局手がかりになりそうな情報は一つしか見つからなかった。僕の頭に埋め込まれた脳内チップの製造番号だけさ。
脳内チップの製造番号？
僕のチップの製造番号は普通の規格じゃない。特殊な番号のチップだったんだ。
そんなことが。
Brain chips are tightly regulated by neutral third-party organizations to prevent abuse. There shouldn't be any such thing as a special brain chip.
信じられないだろう。だけど本当にそうだったんだよ。で、ネット内を調べていくうちに、僕はある軍の研究施設のストラクチャにたどり着いたのさ。
軍の研究施設？何を研究している施設だったんだ？
わからない。けど、そこで僕は妙なものを発見した。
妙なもの？
ああ、厳重なロックの向こうに電子体が一体封印されているのを見つけちゃったんだ。
まさか、それが？
うん。その電子体がレンだったんだよ。
She stops and looks at me, waiting for my reaction.
レンが封印されていた。じゃあレンを解放したのは
僕だよ。寂しかったから友達になりたかったんだよ。好奇心もあったしね。だけどレンは何かを探しているみたいで、解放されると僕を置いてネット空間にさまよい出しちゃったんだ。
探してたって何をだ？
わからない。だけど必死なのは見ててよくわかったよ。追っ手がかかっているのも気にしないで、レンはあっちこっちに飛び回って、僕はヒヤヒヤしながらレンの後を追いかけたんだけど。
Her face goes pale. Something bad must be coming.
最後に会った時、レンは泣いていた。軍の部隊に追い詰められて泣いていた。
軍の部隊に？
うん。レン一人を捕まえるために軍の特殊部隊が出動していた。おまけに僕を追っかけてたおじさんの部下までやってきて、むちゃくちゃな乱戦になったんだ。僕もレンを助けてあげようとしたけど多勢に無勢で、それでついにレンが捕まりそうになった時、いきなりあれが現れたんだ。
あれってまさか？
そう、リヴァイアさんさ。
She mutters with a sigh.
あの子はレンが寂しかったり悲しかったり胸が潰れちゃいそうになると目を覚ますの。寂しければ寂しいほどあの子は強くなってレンの言うことも聞かないで悪いことをするようになるの。
そうか。しかしなんでバチェラがその犯人にされちゃったんだ？
多分リヴァイアさんやレンのことを秘密にしたい人がいたんだろうね。タイミング悪く僕は現場をうろちょろしてたしね。
確かに 暴走した軍の秘密兵器が DOS 攻撃を仕掛けたなんて発覚したら大騒ぎだろうな。
それ以来最近までレンはずっと姿を隠していた。この僕が探しても見つからなかったんだ。
探していたって8年前の冤罪を晴らすためか？
違うよ。
じゃあどうして？
あの子は僕の出生の秘密を知ってるかもしれないんだ。あの子と僕の脳内チップの製造番号は同じ規格番号なんだよ。
なんだって？
As I explain in surprise, the train arrives at the station. Bachelor and I stand at an empty station in the slums.
ひどいところだな。確かに身を隠すにはいいところかもしれないけど。
なーに、住めば都ってやつだよ。
Skyscrapers and industrial factories bloat out the sky. The only reason they're still around is because it'll be more trouble to knock them all down. These are the real slums, a completely abandoned part of the city that are unmaintained and covered in debris. It hurts to even breathe here.
しかし、隊長はここに俺たちをかくまってくれる人がいるって言ってたけど、それって一体どんなやつなんだろう。
僕には少し予想がつくよ。ほら、来たみたいだ。
As soon as we step out of the station, we're surrounded by rough-looking men.
なんだ、こいつらは。
テロリスト。フェタオの連中さ。
なんだって？
A gun's jammed into my back before I can react. I raise my hands helplessly.
ついてこい。
They lead us into a building, then into an underground passage.
なんだ、ここは。
After a very long walk underground, we suddenly exit to a wide open area. It's like an underground stadium, a giant hollowed out cave with a dim lights far up on the ceiling, illuminating the vast space. We're standing at the top of a terraced stairway that stretches around a circular hole.
噂に聞いたことがあるよ。スラムの地下に昔の巨大核シェルターが眠ってるって噂話。
The area is covered with makeshift barracks. I can see people going about their business here or there, along with dogs and kids. I walk across the terrace, looking the city over. There's all sorts of graffiti on the walls, among with metal plates as old as the city. One of them catches my eye. Nuclear bunker, level 7.
バチェラの言う通りだな。
ようこそレベル7へ。君たちの到着を待っていたよ。
Alright, I wonder if we're gonna see Akira here. Well, of course, but still. He was cool. I hope he gets a lot of screen time. Someone calls out to us. It's a man slowly walking along the terrace towards us. He looks like he's just shy of middle age and intelligent. He also feels a little daunting. It's the same man who spoke to me during that fight.
あんたは
直接会うのは初めてだな。相馬徹君。自己紹介しよう。私はクーオ。
For a moment there, he sounded very different, but I don't know.
クーオン？あんたがフェタオの指揮官だったのか。
心配しなくてもいい。私は君たちの敵ではない。八木沢には君たちをかくまうように頼まれている。
God damn, those are some long pauses.
隊長に？
そうだ。もっとも八木沢に頼まれなくとも私は君たちをかくまっていただろうが。
Meaning that there is some kind of connection between Yagisawa and the head of the terrorist. He smiles at me.
相馬君。君も立花玲香には魂を傷つけられるような目にあったはずだ。
立花玲香。
If he hadn't showed up when he did, I might not have been able to break free from her brainwashing.
立花玲香は我々の宿敵だ。この地下の都はあの女狐から逃れてきた者たちの集う場所なのだ。
He starts walking, indicating for us to follow.
逃れてきた者たち？
そう。我々の主張を君も知っているだろう。
フェタオの主張？脳内チップに洗脳用のブラックボックスが存在しているってやつかい？
そうだ。そしてそれは真実なのだ。
Bachelor and I exchange a glance. There's no doubt that Tachibana is evil, but it's hard to believe their compromised brain shit. I mean, Toru, you were kind of brainwashed, so... Still, I was brainwashed. How'd go. Fucking... And Bachelor has a brain chip that shouldn't exist. Shouldn't I read shouldn't exist? Whatever. I don't know that I can say their claim is nonsense. You make valid points, Kuwan.
すぐには信じられないかもしれない。しかし、近いうちに君たちもわかるだろう。
I mean, it happened already. And plus, you got that whole Tsuki now being brainwashed. Duh. I don't think Toru needs to be convinced any further. He mutters grimly and takes us deeper in.
北前、君たちに見てもらいたいものがある。
これは。
Is that Akira? There's a few dozen people lying on the floor. All of them have Narrowjack's plug-in. Dude, this dude dead ass looks like Akira.
我々もあのリヴァイアさんのおかげで。
No, dude, you're not gonna fucking tell me Akira died. Dude! We walk among the brain dead people. I recognize one of them and am stunned. Dude, no!
Akira!
Kuwan sympathetically puts his hand on my shoulder.
そういえば、君は彼の友人だったな。彼からは君の話をよく聞かせてもらったよ。
Ah, come on, dude. He was cool, and I was hoping he'll get more screen time. Since he only really was ever all that relevant in one route. Maybe Tsukina too, if you count that whole little arrangement at the start, but it never really lead anywhere. Fuck, man.
Akira がなんでテロリストに？Akira もリヴァイアさんの DOS 攻撃を受けたのか？
ああ。彼は得難い同士だった。まだ死んではいないが、脳の活動は停止したままだ。
I stare at him for a moment, in total shock. His eyes are closed like he's asleep. He looks so tranquil.
Toru.
Bachelor, anxiously says my name. I snap back to my senses. She's worried about me too.
Toru, なんて言っていいのかわからないけど。
大丈夫だ。クオ、見せたいものってアキラのことじゃないんだろう。
He nods and leads us away.
すごいや。年代物だね。
Their operation room is filled with old CRT monitors, dimly reporting various things. This equipment must be decades old, if not close to a century.
てめえ、なんで軍人がこんなところにいるんだよ!
Familiar man is in here too. When he sees me, he yells angrily. I can't remember if Genha was really all that involved in this route so far. I think we ran across him like once, and we never really like interacted much.
お前は確か。
クモン、これは何のつもりだ！落ち着けゲンハ。彼らは私の客人だ。客だ？俺は認めねえぜ。このガキには恨みがあるんだよ。
What? His hand flashes and a knife appears in it. Murder is plain in his eyes as he twists like a feral animal. What do you mean?
やめろ。ヤンの回復のためには彼らの力が必要なのだ。 リャンだと。こいつらにリャンをどうにかできるっていうのかよ。
What happened to Lang? He glares suspiciously at Kuwan, who meets it head on.
ああ、確かだ。私を信用したまえ、ゲンハ。
He stares at me with daggers in his eyes. If not for Kuwan, he would have already attacked. Finally, he scoffs and puts the knife away.
失敗したら二度とお天道様が拝めねえと思いやがる。
And then he storms away from us.
すまなかった。しかし、私の客人である間は誰にも君たちに手を出させない。
それはいいけど、リャンって一体何のことだ？
それは今から説明しよう。
He points to the back of the room. There's a bed next to an old-style console with a girl sleeping in it.
この子もリヴァイアさんの DOS 攻撃の被害者なのか？
And Lang is also dead? Or nah?
正確には違う。この娘、リャンは確かにあの時サポートのためにネットに接続されていたが、 DOS 攻撃からは運よく逃れることができた。
Well, at least one person survived. Or one other heroine survived.
だったらなぜ？
リャンの脳内チップはバグありの欠陥チップなのだ。そのバグがリヴァイアさんとの接触で誘発されてしまったらしい。
バグありの脳内チップだって？
They caught her interest. Or that caught her interest. She steps forward and takes a closer look at this Lang girl.
脳内チップのダンプリストを見てもいいかい、おじさん？
ああ、構わないとも。
Her fingers dance across the keyboard. Numbers race across the screen faster than I can follow.
これ標準の脳内チップじゃないね。
その通りだ。君にはわかるようだな。
She focuses hard on the screen as numbers stream past. Eventually, she looks back at Kuwan and scowls.
おじさん、これって。
He gives her a very slight nod, but the two keep staring at each other without saying anything.
一体何がどうなっているんだい？
Come on, fill me with details.
この子を昏睡状態から目覚めさせるには、バイオチップのコードにパッチを当てる必要があるんだよ。
After hesitating for a moment, Bachelor answers, but I get the feeling she's still hiding something.
そうだ。しかしそれは私の手には余る作業だ。だがバチェラー、君ならできるに違いない。
ああ、多分できると思う。いや、
Oops, my bad. They keep staring at each other. There's definitely more here than being said.
いいか。
Right now, I'm isolated and at a loss. There's nothing I can do but bury it and settle in for now. I'd be living in the terrorist hideout for a while. How many times have I had this dream?
お前さ、たまには外で遊んだ方がいいぜ。
I'm in that cavern, watching a big kid look down incredulous. I no idea how to pronounce that. Incredulously at a girl. She ignores him and quietly keeps working on a complicated puzzle.
無視するなよ。なんだよこんなパズル。
He kicks it away from her in frustration. He lets out a yelp and stares at the scattered pieces sadly.
なんだよ。お前が俺を無視するからいけないんだよ。
He looks guilty and confused at his own actions before running out. The girl is left by herself, still staring at the puzzle.
あのさ、直すの僕も手伝うから。
She looks at me in surprise, then shakes her head and smiles sadly.
ありがとう。でもこれは私しか直せないから。
I like how Genha doesn't even sound all that different when he was a kid. I wake up in the dim light, half of my body covered in a dingly blanket. The small hole in the wall is the room I've been given. I rub my forehead. Another strange dream. How many times am I going to dream about living in some mountain cabin? I grew up in an orphanage for several autistic kids. I have no memories from when I was a kid. I have no idea what my parents looked like. But I have no way to tell if it's true or not. I need to put it out of my head. Thinking about those dreams is just depressing. I yawn and stand up. Bachelor was given a room next to mine, but she's not in. It's been about a week. Bachelor's been shut up in the operation room 24/7, working on the code in Lang's brain chip. As I arrive at the operation room, I hear an unwelcome voice.
Oi. Omega本当にあのバチェラなのかよ。
Really now, Genha? What is your issue right now? I quickly check to make sure she's okay. She keeps typing. He's leering over her, watching the screen intently.
しかし朝から晩までご苦労さんだな。少しは飽きるって言葉を知らねえのかや。無視かよ。それとも聞こえてねえってことかよ。
It's just like the dream. She continues to pay no attention to him. I feel like I've seen this somewhere before.
そうやって無視されてると、なんかうずいてくるぜ。いたずらしても気づかねえのかな。だんだん試したくなってきたぜ。
This is bad. I got to get in there before something happens.
なんだよ。てめえいたのかよ。
ああ。言っておくが、バチェラに手を出すと、あのリャンって子が。
分かってねえ。からかっただけだ。こんなガキにムラムラするわけねえだろ。
He storms away. I let out a sigh of relief.
ありがとう、トール。
She doesn't look up from the screen, nor do her fingers stop moving.
しかし、少しは休んだ方がいいんじゃないか？
大丈夫。あと少しだから。
そうか。
I don't want to be in her way either. I awkwardly leave. Night comes. The lighting here dims. Even underground, people can't ignore the nature rhythms of life. Or natural rhythms of life. That's nature. I'm dumb as fuck, dude. As usual, Bachelor doesn't come home. Although I'm sure in a few hours she'll give in to exhaustion and suddenly fall asleep. I think I've been napping too much. I'm not tired at all. I've been here a week and boredom has become my greatest enemy. Ren, Leviathan, Tachibana, my dead friends. There's so many things running through my head. It's too much. I'm overwhelmed and paralyzed, unsure what to do. I take out my handheld and plug in the narrow jack. Are we getting a setup or? Nah, it's just the dive animation. As soon as I dive, a warning sounds in my ear.
シミュレーションに不都合だな。
I hesitate for a moment before going deeper in. If there really is a problem in the AI, this would be suicide.
やっぱり脅しか。
Thankfully, it's a lie to scare people off. There's no issue here. I pass through the security and go in deeper. I arrived at the huge series of locks, shut tight. Ren supposedly shut inside them. Right, it was on a terminal in a hospital room years ago.
まだ時期尚早だ。失敗すれば一人の少女の命が失われるんだぞ。
Two doctors are arguing in the hall. They haven't noticed me playing with the terminal. One's a kind man and the other's a scary woman.
あのね、予算獲得のためにはそろそろ私たちは実績を出さなきゃいけないの。わかる？
実績なら出している。どのプロジェクトも順調に進行しているじゃないか。
あなたの言う順調はクライアントからすれば止まっているも同じなの。いい？今週中に最初の没入試験をする予定には変更はありませんからね。
After that, I think something tragic happened, but I can't remember what it was. And then we moved to a cabin in the mountains.
ほら、みんなご飯ができたよ。
Yeah, this is our mountain home. It always felt refreshing out here. In the corner of the room, a girl's engrossed in a puzzle. It's an incredibly complicated one that even adults would struggle with.
ほらほら、パズルは少し中止して、早くご飯を食べなよ。
うん、あと少しだから。
ほら、新聞読んでないでご飯食べなよ。マナー悪いよ。
A man wearing glasses is scolded by a girl dressed in Chinese clothing.
お兄ちゃん。
Ren's voice is clear as a bell. I come back to my senses.
レン！
そこにいるのお兄ちゃんだよね。
There's no mistaking it. I can somehow hear her voice coming through those locks.
レン、無事だったんだな。
だけどどうしてもこの扉を抜けられなくて。
よし待ってろ。こんな扉今に仕掛けて開いてやるから。
ダメ、お兄ちゃん無茶しちゃダメ。
でもレンがそんなところに閉じ込められているのを見過ごせないよ。レンだってそんなところで一人ぼっちでいるのは嫌だろ。
それはそうだけど。
She hesitates. She's hiding something.
私たちにもわからない。それは本人に聞くのが一番早いんじゃない？
Time to step up to the plate then.
レン、あのさ、あのリヴァイアさん、黒い球体とレンにはどんな関係があるんだい？
No answer. I can't say I expected this. Fine. I'll try from another angle.
レン、あいつら立花社長たちは一体レンに何をさせようとしているんだい？
She's reluctant to answer, but slowly begins to talk.
あの人たち、レンにあの子をおとなしくさせるようにって。
あの子ってリヴァイアさんのことか？
だけどもうダメ。あの子はもうレンの言うことなんか聞いてくれないの。
もうダメってことは以前はリヴァイアさんを操れたのかい？
けど前はあの子が暴れ出してもレンがお願いすればすぐにおとなしくなってくれたの。だけど
She falters again. Tachibana said that Leviathan was connected to Lin's emotions.
レン、 リヴァイアさんはレンの気持ちに反応するって言ってたよね。
So if she can't control Leviathan, does that mean she's unable to control her emotions anymore?
レンは俺と会っている間、何か悲しいことでもあったのかい？
お兄ちゃんと一緒の時は本当に楽しかったよ。
だったらどうして？
She starts sobbing.
最初はお兄ちゃんのことを見ているだけでよかったの。だけどお兄ちゃんと運よくお話ができて仲良しになれて本当に嬉しかった。なのに仲良しになれたおかげでそれだけじゃ我慢できなくなっちゃって。
それだけって？
ねえ、お兄ちゃんと本当の世界で遊びたい。ねえ、本当の世界に戻りたい。
Her choked sobs have become outright crying.
待ってろ俺、やっぱりお前を置き去りにはできない。こんなロック今に解放してやるからな。
ダメ、それじゃ何の解決にもならないよ。
じゃあ俺はどうすればいいんだ？
お兄ちゃん、お願いがあるの。
なんだ？言ってみろ。俺にできることなら叶えてやるよ。
お願い、レンの体を探して。
体ってリアルボディのことか？
If she has an avatar, she has to have a body somewhere, but...
そうか。で、どこにリアルボディがあるのか知っているのかい？
レンはずっと自分の体に戻る方法を探してたけどダメだった。けどお兄ちゃんなら。
Her words trail off, but I know she's wiping her tears even without being able to see her.
わかった。
Or without being able
見
to
つけ
see
てやるよ。俺もリアルでレンに会いたいからな。
お兄ちゃん、ありがとう。
She shouts for joy on the other side of the lock. I feel a little better.
しかし、実態を見つけることとリヴァイアさんを抑えることに何か関係があるのか？
She relentless to answer again, but after a few minutes speaks quietly.
レンもお兄ちゃんとあちらで会いたい。そう思うと胸が痛くて仕方がないの。この寂しい気持ちが収まってくれれば、そうすれば多分あの子は抑えられる。
リヴァイアさんを静止できるってことかい？
あの子もレンと同じで寂しいだけなの。だけど赤ちゃんみたいに何をしていいのかわからないだけなの。
リヴァイアさんが寂しいって？
もうレンはあの子を抑えていられない。早く見つけないと大変なことになっちゃう。
大変なことって？
お兄ちゃん、もう戻って。あの子がお兄ちゃんに気づかないうちに。
しかし
トール、君がここにいても何の役にも立たないよ。
I whip around. Bachelor is standing there.
バチェラー、もう仕事は終わったのか？
うん、終わったよ。
She gives an exhausted smile.
レンの言うように、君がここにいても何もできない。それに、一人で頑張ろうとするのは君の悪い癖だよ。
ああ、わかったよ。